Executive producer, Brian Herzog. Presents Bobby Clark. Education, current events, and topics that affect you.
Welcome to Let's Talk About It. I'm Bobby Clark, and today, the first 30 minutes, we have Corporal Jeremy Blunt, who is the activity coordinator, and Megan Reddy, who is the public relations director for the Louisiana National Guard Youth Challenge Program. Welcome to the both of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now tell me, what is the Louisiana National Guard Youth Challenge Program?
YCP, as it's also called, is an alternative educational program for at-risk youth ages 16 to 18. In the country, there are 27 states that operate 35 youth challenge programs. Louisiana has the unique distinction of operating 3 of those programs here in our state.
Let me ask, now with the 16-year-olds, do they have to be in a specific grade when they come to you, or what are your requirements?
The requirements for Youth Challenge Program is, 1, they have to be between the age of 16 to 18 years of age. They have to be a Louisiana resident. And also, they have to be willing to be drug-free.
Okay, what does willing to be drug-free mean?
Willing to become drug-free. We understand that some young people have some issues, and we are a drug-free facility, so they have to be willing to come out of that and come off of it during the time that they're with us.
All right. What grade? Let's say you have a 16-year-old who may have dropped out in the 8th grade. Is that a person who is open to coming to the program?
Yes, ma'am. Irregardless of what grade level they were last in, as long as they meet the age requirements, we can accept them in our program.
And how long is the program?
The program is 5.5 months. It's separated into 2 phases, really. Well, 5.5 months is phase 1 of the program, in which the students, we call them cadets, they stay on the campus with us. That's when they go to school 5 days a week. They stay residentially with us. The second phase is what we call our post-residential phase, in which they go home, in which each cadet has a mentor. And the mentor, along with our YCP case managers, track them for a year after they finish our program to make sure they're doing something productive with themselves, such as going to school. Some of them join the military, they get jobs, etc., things like that.
So if I were to describe the program that you're taking them through, what would be your description of it? Because it sounds like, from what I'm hearing, it may get them back on the right track, but afterwards they've got to make sure they stay there with themselves and the mentor who they are going to be working with?
That is correct. Our goal is we give the young people hope. We give them an opportunity to get their lives back on track, regardless of what they've done or where they've been prior to us. If they're willing to get on track, we supply them with the tools to help them get on track and stay on track. That's what we do. Okay.
And what about what you do in this, basically, what would we say, a 10-month program?
Yes, ma'am.
That is that, am I off?
17 months?
17 months.
Yes.
Okay. How many months in the dorm?
5.5.
5.5
They
in the
live with us
dorm.
residential.
Oh, residential. Okay. And then after that, they have maybe another 15 months with a mentor.
After they graduate from our program, the residential phase, the 5.5 months, they walk across the stage, they've completed the residential phase. They enter the post-residential phase. They've returned home to their communities. Our goal is to produce productive citizens. We want to make sure that they're in school and working. So our staff case managers will keep in touch with them.
Okay.
And our staff case managers will also keep in touch with the mentor and the cadet in their community.
Okay, so I understand that it's a core, 8 core components.
Yes, ma'am.
So what are those 8 core components, and what is so, let's say, dynamic about those 8 core components that are going to ensure that that child stays with the program and becomes successful?
Well, all of the 8 core components are really important, and they're interwoven into every aspect of our program. When the cadets arrive, they might not know what they are, how important they are, or even how important they'll be to them later in life. But by the time they graduate, they're really able to intelligently discuss how the 8 core components have been integrated into the program and what they've learned about them. The 8 core components are responsible citizenship, academic excellence, leadership followership, life coping skills, physical fitness, health and hygiene, service to community, and job skills.
Okay. All right. Now, the reason I wanted you, can you kind of delve into that a bit deeper for me? And
Okay.
I know you've given me what those core components are. What I'm trying to make sure that the audience understands is how this has that significant effect on these young men, because they're basically young men, right?
We do have ladies as
You
well.
have females also,
Yes, ma'am.
okay? All right. What I'm trying to understand is what is happening to turn them around, okay? And these core components, as I appreciate, are going to be the ideal components that are going to assist them.
Well, we call them the building blocks of life.
The building blocks of life.
And with the first one, we call the main one, is life coping skills. For one, you take a group of young men or ladies, and you put them in living in a barrack-style building in which they're having between 3 and sometimes 4 roommates. And, they're sharing in that close proximity of a common area. They're learning how to get along. That is life coping skills. You might not always see eye to eye, but you learn how to get along, how to move forward, how to work with each other, how to work as a team, how to discuss differences that you may have and resolve them. So life coping skills is one of the main ones. In school, they learn resume writing, how they should dress for an interview, how they should go to an interview, the proper etiquette of the different things that they're supposed to do. A part of it is also service to community. Each cadet is required to do a minimum of 40 hours of service to the community during the residential phase, that first 5.5 months. And that is where they go out into the community and they're finding different areas that they can contribute back to their community on a volunteer basis.
I need you to hold that point. We have to take a quick break here, and we will be back in just a moment with Let's Talk About It.
Sponsored by Prepare for the ACT with the online ACT Mastery Home Study Course. Sponsored by
Omni Insurance Group, your free affordable healthcare enrollment center.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. Our guest, Corporal Jeremy Blunt, who is Activity Coordinator, and Megan Reddy, Public Relations Director for the Louisiana National Guard Youth Challenge Program. And we were talking about the 8 core components of the program. And can we delve into that some more? And before you start, I have a question. I noticed that one of those is academic excellence.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. In that academic excellence, is that going to be while they are on campus, in the dorm, and when they are back in their home environment?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Well, when they're here with us, they're working with state certified teachers in the classroom, and each student works at their own pace. We do school differently, and that's why we're successful at what we do. On average, each of our students increases their grades 1 grade level per month, and so you're looking at a 5.5 grade level increase in the time they're in our residential program.
Okay.
So they might come in reading on a 3rd grade level and leave reading at a high school level. and that's because they're working at their own pace. There is the opportunity for students to interact with each other in some peer tutoring, but we really stress that they're not going to move on to the next subject until they demonstrate a mastery of what they're working on now. We do also stress that they continue their education when they graduate from our program and enter the post-residential phase. In fact, we have 2 new initiatives, and we can talk more about those later, but just demonstrating our commitment to see our students further their education in community colleges or technical.
Have most of the students, when they come to you, are they still enrolled, or have they dropped out of school?
It depends. Some of our students have already dropped out of school. Some of them have been out of school for many years. Others have come to the point where they've realized they're not going to graduate with their class. They're about to fail again. They're just not being successful, and so they're together with their families, they're trying to evaluate what their next step is. So our only requirement is that they can't be dual enrolled in both a public high school and our school. So they have to drop out or withdraw before they can attend our program.
And how successful have you been?
I think we're very successful.
Very successful.
We've been doing it for 20 years. Every year, more than 1,400 kids graduate from our program. 80% of those earn their high school equivalency in 5.5 months.
All right. They earn their high school equivalency within 5.5 months. So you're saying they earn it before they leave your program. That's awesome. Yes.
Yes,
And how many students do you have per session?
Each campus has a certain number of students that they have each class. So in total, Louisiana operates 6 classes per year. So that's 1,400 per year.
1,400 per year. That's
6
pretty
classes a year.
significant, and the greater percentage of those complete their high school requirements.
Yes, ma'am.
That's beautiful. And what do you contribute that to? That success.
Their desire to want to better for themselves. We encourage them, we try to inspire them that their future is literally in their hands. And it's not about where they come from. It's not about what they've done, but it's about putting the pieces together of their life and moving forward and seeing the tools that they have in front of them and taking and utilizing those tools. And when you show them that they can be, regardless of what they've been through, they take that and they run with it.
So it sounds as if it's being in an environment that's positive.
Absolutely.
Yes, ma'am.
And one where they're being encouraged to complete goals.
Yes, ma'am.
Right.
That's
And
beautiful.
I also always talk about how the students really do well when they know what's expected of them. They know what to expect from us as well. And so they don't have to wonder. There's no question about what's going to happen the next day.
Because all of that has been defined when they first arrive.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So you've already mentioned that these are all high school dropouts, or do you have some who are still? Well, you've already said though that they cannot be enrolled in both. But let's say that a child hears about your program, is in a regular school setting, and likes what you have. If they were to come to you, would the requirement only be that they cannot be in both? Or is it if that child is already in high school, maybe not doing well, that you have different requirements?
They would simply have to go to their school. And they would have to drop from their school and letting them know that they're enrolling into our program.
Okay.
It's really that simple.
There's actually a law in the state of Louisiana that states that all youth under the age of 18 have to be enrolled in high school. The only exception is the Youth Challenge program.
Oh, and that is in the state law.
Yes, ma'am.
So that's good for the students to understand that there is an option
Yes.
that they may not know about. Are there any plans in the future where you're going to be increasing that number of students that you will be able to take in your program?
We may be.
We would never say never.
Yeah.
Never say never. Okay.
I think right now we're focused, though, on offering new and innovative opportunities to our students.
And what would those new innovative opportunities be?
Well, right now, a couple of years ago, we signed a memorandum of agreement with Bossier Parish Community College, and they offer our students the opportunity to earn college credit hours when they're enrolled in our 5.5-month residential phase of the program. And so each of our students who meets those requirements, they take a test, and for every test that they pass, they earn 3 hours of college credit. So they're leaving with potentially 15 hours or more for free.
So that means that at the time that they're earning their GED,
Yes, ma'am.
they at the same time could be earning college credits.
Yes, ma'am.
That is interesting. And you can get up to how many credits?
15.
Up to 15 credits. Well, that's pretty much a semester.
That's almost
Yeah. Okay.
The other program that we offer is NCCER. It stands for National Center for Construction and Education Research. And the students who complete that 90-hour course with us, they can leave with a certificate of completion, and it offers them immediate employability in the construction field.
And what kinds of employment are we talking about in that field?
Well, they're learning basic construction skills.
Okay, all right. So basic construction, meaning basic building?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, gotcha. And what are the eligibility requirements for all of this? We've got to take a break here. So when we come back, that's going to be something that we're going to be looking at is eligibility and what happens to all of these other kids who are wanting your program and can't get in right now. But we'll be back in just a moment with Let's Talk About It.
Sponsored by Prepare for the ACT with the online ACT Mastery Home Study Course. Sponsored by
Omni Insurance Group, your free affordable healthcare enrollment center.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. I'm Bobby Clark, your host, and my guest, Corporal Jeremy Blunt. He's activity coordinator, and Megan Reddy, public relations director, and they're with the Louisiana National Guard Youth Challenge program. And earlier in the conversation, we were talking about the 8 core components of the youth program. And there were several that are a couple that we missed here. Responsible citizenship.
Responsible citizenship. We try to teach and instill into the young people that registering to vote, if they're old enough to vote, we help them get registered during the course of the time that they're in our program. We also encourage them to be involved in their community and have a voice and understand the importance of being a part of the community and not just being, I guess we can call it a spectator.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds interesting. That changes their thought pattern, doesn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
I would think so. So then the next is leadership, and is it fellowship?
Followership.
Followership.
Yes.
Okay.
During the time that they're there, they take turns being in leadership. So it's important to learn how to be a follower, just as it's important to be a leader. Mm-hmm. So we give them an opportunity to be the one that's in charge. But we also give them that opportunity to learn how it is to follow each other. So ironically, with them being in the same setting, the same people that they were over, then they turn around and now that person's over them. So it kind of teaches them how to be on both sides. You want to listen to other people because you want to know what it's like to be in that leadership position for other people to be listening to you.
Now, of course, in the environment they're in with the Youth Challenge program, they have loads of positive reactions around them. In their neighborhoods that they may have come from, they could have that followership program or that leadership, which could be quite different. How do you get them to understand the difference in how they are now being, what they're now being introduced to what they have left and are going to see when they get back to their environment?
We discuss that with them a lot.
Yeah, we talk about it a lot. It's indoctrinated into them that they're around so many different positive leadership, because a leader can be positive and negative. So when they first start off, all they see is some of the staff being the ones in leadership positions. After the initial couple of weeks have passed, then we turn it over to them and allow them to be some of those leaders. So once they've been exposed to positive leaders here and positive leaders there, then we've kind of set the pattern for them of what they should be working toward.
And then they're getting that hands-on experience,
Yes,
huh?
ma'am.
That's beautiful. The other, let's see here, we have health and hygiene.
Yes. We teach them about themselves, what they should be eating, how they should be eating. They get 3 square meals a day, plus a snack sometimes. So they eat really, really good. But we're also teaching them the importance of eating the right foods and not just eating junk food all the time, per se.
And staying at the fast foods.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
And the importance of sleep. Physical
Yes.
exercise goes hand in hand with that also.
definitely. They say sleep is one of the most powerful.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
They get between 8 and maybe a little bit more sometimes.
Oh, that's
hours of sleep a
beautiful.
night, because that's important
Yes.
to make sure you're functioning at your best.
And the other is community. No, we did community service. It was physical
Physical
fitness.
fitness.
Yes.
Yes, 5 days a week they do some form of physical training. We teach them different forms of exercises, but at the same time they play sports, so they do some fun stuff at the same time. So we're constantly stressing the importance of keeping their bodies moving, and teaching them about their body makeup. And it's amazing. A lot of them, their self-esteem is built up so much once they learn what they can do, based off of the knowledge that they've gained.
So it's those negatives a lot of times that are being fed into them
Yes, ma'am.
that cause them to not feel good about themselves.
Yes.
A lot of our
Gotcha.
students are the first in their families to complete their high school education or to attempt to complete it. A lot of them have been told that they'll never amount to anything. And so they come to us with pretty low self-esteem. And
Yes.
so everything that we do from the ground up is trying to teach them a new way of thinking about themselves.
Is there a cost for the students to enroll?
No.
Completely free.
No cost.
There's no cost. We are state
Okay.
and federally funded, so they come to us, no cost to the parents at all.
Well, I'm sure you have an ongoing waiting list.
We actually don't have a waiting list, but there's
Really?
always an opportunity for a student to become enrolled because we have 3 programs, 6 classes a year. So we're constantly recruiting. The recruiting department works on behalf of all 3 of our programs, the one at Camp Minden near Shreveport, the one at Camp Beauregard near Pineville in central Louisiana, and the Gillis Long Center, which is near Baton Rouge. And we start 6 classes a year, and so calling 1-800-CAMP-KID, visiting our website, or visiting
And what
us
is the
on Facebook.
website?
It's LANGYCP.com.
Okay, the website is LANGYCP.com. And the telephone number for the Youth National Guard Youth Challenge Program, the Louisiana National Guard Youth Challenge Program, is 800-CAMP-KID. And that CAMP-KID is Camp Kid. So anything else you'd like to share with our viewing audience before you go?
Yes, there's one. Sometimes, a lot of times we're attributed to being affiliated with like a boot camp, but we're not. The boot camps are typically associated with the juvenile justice system. We work independently, completely separate from that. The big difference is the court systems typically put the ones in boot camp. No court can order a kid into our program. It is volunteer. So we ask each student, potential cadet, to work with their families to make a determination if our program works best for them. We provide an opportunity. We believe in giving them the tools that they need to become successful. And if they're interested into our program, then they have to make the step, because ultimately we put it in their hands even once they get there. Kid doesn't necessarily have to get their, they don't all graduate with a GED. We give them the opportunity to earn it. It is now called a high set. But we give them the opportunity, but they still have to put forth the work to get it.
Okay. I think you've gotten some really valuable information today from the Louisiana National Guard Youth Challenge Program. And we suggest that if any of you are in need of a very healthy place to go to get your high school diploma or get all of those things that will get you prepared for it, that this would be an excellent program. And thank you so much for your time and coming to share this information with us.
Our pleasure.
Okay, thank you. And we'll be back in just a moment with Let's Talk About It.
Sponsored by Prepare for the ACT with the online ACT Mastery Home Study Course. Sponsored by
Omni Insurance Group, your free affordable healthcare enrollment center.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. Our guest is Byron Alexander of Omni Insurance Group. And today we're going to be talking about the Affordable Care Act. So Byron, it's very good to have you with us.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Thank you. What is the Affordable Care Act?
Well, the Affordable Care Act is just a new law that was implemented to allow more individuals in the United States to be able to have access to comprehensive health care.
Okay. And how does it affect us here in Louisiana?
Well, in Louisiana, because we do not have a health care exchange that was performed by the state, we have a federal facilitated exchange. And in that exchange, it's no more than you can look at it as an orbit or to allow individuals to have and compare health insurance plans from different companies to afford them the health care coverage in which they may need. So it's no more than a marketplace for them to go and view different plans as well as different companies who offer those plans and compare prices and plans.
Now, let me see if I'm understanding. Louisiana does not have its own health care exchange.
Exactly.
And so what it means is that the population of Louisiana who's interested in affordable care, then that means that they get to shop around to what's available in other parts of the United States?
No, it's available to the companies that are here in Louisiana,
Okay.
but it's implemented by the federal government. It's a federal facilitated marketplace and not a state-based marketplace.
So what would be the difference?
It is actually controlled by the federal government being the one that implemented it, rather than the state implemented the marketplace for those who are shopping for coverage.
So if the state had implemented its own program, then that means the federal government would not be in play here. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, because there are still there are other benefits that the federal government would have allowed even on the state-based exchange,
Okay.
Which would be tax credits and subsidies. So it really allowed the state an opportunity to implement our own plan, but it did not affect the quality nor the companies that are available and afford coverages for the individuals and the constituents of Louisiana.
But
So-
as I appreciate it, it affected some of the persons who, I believe it's through Medicare, who are not who do not qualify for the plan?
No, well, we did not expand our Medicaid here. Our governor did not expand Medicaid here in Louisiana, but that did not negate the federal government from implementing or allowing the exchange to be in place here in Louisiana. So there is still a marketplace that individuals here in Louisiana can access is to get affordable health care.
All right. So I don't know why I thought I heard that there was, or I read that there was a percentage of persons in Louisiana who did not qualify for the Affordable Care Act and in some way are missing out on this quality program that is available because there was, is it Medicare, Medicaid?
Well, here's how there is thresholds that family household size and household incomes have to meet. Once those are met, then you can qualify to receive the tax credits and subsidies that are available to help pay for the health insurance. What would have happened if we expanded our Medicaid here, then we would have had about maybe 260,000 more people who does not qualify at this point could have qualified for affordable health care.
Okay, now you say at this point, so they will qualify later, or what does at this point mean?
Because our governor did not expand Medicaid, then therefore, because health insurance on the Affordable Care Act is designed and based upon household size and household income.
Okay.
So with that being the parameters, in order for me to qualify to receive the tax credits or the subsidies, I must meet those two criteria. And there is a certain limit of household size. And just say for a single household, there is a threshold that household would have to meet in order to receive affordable health care. Now, if I do not meet those thresholds, there is still affordable health care coverage that is available, but I will not receive any of the tax credits or subsidies to help pay for it.
Okay.
And more individuals are more interested in receiving the tax credits and the subsidies that are available as long as they qualify.
And that sounds to me as if that might be something that would be good, seeing as though healthcare can be expensive.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. It's very good.
So now, when we're looking at, is it the persons in a lower income who would be affected by this?
Well, you could say it like this. Being that healthcare is expensive, the Affordable Care Act was designed to help the working class, those who are not in an indigent situation, to be able to afford health care. One of the things we really want to make clear is that affordable health care is not designed to be a social health care, but it's designed to make health care affordable.
Okay.
And so in doing so, what it offers is tax credits for individuals and families to be able to afford the quality health care everyone so much deserves.
Okay. And just to make it clear, for those who may not recognize the Affordable Care Act, they might know it as Obamacare.
Exactly.
Okay. All right.
Exactly.
So basically, probably at some point, depending upon how popular this program becomes, we probably won't hear of Obamacare any longer. It will be Affordable Care.
Well, we'll see. We'll wait and see what the pundits say about
Yes.
it after more results have come out.
Because so far, the number of persons who are applying for affordable care has increased much higher than what was anticipated. Am I correct?
Correct. The actual numbers are in now. The data is in. So the number of Louisianans, as well as all over the country, that applied for affordable health care, it's better than what was expected, or the projections.
Okay. Well, we're going to take a break here, and we'll be back in just a moment with Let's Talk About It.
Sponsored by Prepare for the ACT with the online ACT Mastery Home Study Course. Sponsored by
Omni Insurance Group, your free affordable healthcare enrollment center.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. Our guest, Byron Alexander with Omni Insurance Group. And we're talking today about the Affordable Care Act. And Byron, how does the Affordable Care Act work in Louisiana?
Basically, it just, because of household size and household income, take those two factors into consideration to qualify each person or family to receive financial assistance to help pay for the health insurance.
Okay.
So that's really how it works.
Okay. I hear different information about the number of Louisianians who do not fit into Affordable Care Act. And I think we talked about that I was about to ask what that means, but I think we talked about that in the sense that they may be persons who are not in the group who may be employed and yet still need care.
Exactly.
Okay.
Because the affordable health care is designed based upon, and I have to keep saying this, household size and household income. In order for me to qualify, I have to meet a certain threshold of financial income to receive the financial help, because the federal government gives tax credits to help pay for the health insurance. So if I'm one who's not employed and has no income, then I could not receive financial assistance because I don't meet the criteria of having income. And so in order for me to initially to receive the financial assistance, I have to have a certain level of income based upon my household size and household income.
Now, how do other states rectify a situation like this?
It's basically the same.
The same.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
All right. So my next question that I had was, what is the state's role in all of this? And I guess some of our previous information that you've shared tells about what the state role is. Is there anything in addition to that that needs to be shared?
Well, one of the things that we can really maybe shed a little light on, because our state did not initiate its own exchange, one of the things that could really help Louisiana out greatly is that for more of our leaders who are to get involved, to help promote affordable health care to especially their constituents who can benefit from affordable health care, seeing that we did not accept the expansion as a state. Our governor did not. So what we have to do, we have to get out and we have to educate. We have to promote. We have to do seminars to inform the Louisianians what's available when we consider and talk about affordable health care, because one of the amazing findings that we know of is that 85% of Americans do not know that financial assistance is available with affordable health care. Many of them think that it's federal government insurance. It's not that. The same companies that are in Louisiana who's responsible for off of the exchange coverage are the same companies that are the companies that provide the same coverage on the exchange or in the marketplace.
So it sounds as if you're saying that the insurance companies are still the ones who are signing people up for the coverage.
Exactly.
And basically, they're just doing it through the Affordable Care Act.
Exactly.
Now, with that in mind, it just means that there is more assistance that's available to the individuals.
Good question. Not only is there more assistance available, but under the Affordable Care Act, it required that the insurance carrier provide better coverages, which means in return, it gives each individual more actuarial value in their coverage, as well as it pays more health benefits.
Okay, break down actuarial.
Actuarial is the amount of coverage that the plan, the health care plan actually pays for itself when it concerns health care. Before affordable health care, most people are not aware that the amount of coverage that their plan offered was a maximum of about 50 to 52%. Now, under the Affordable Health Care Act, it has to offer at least 60% of health care value. So that means that the plan is responsible for paying 60% of the health care costs when it concerns the individual, and I'm responsible for 40%. So it has to start off at a higher level. Now, depending on which plans that I go with, whether it be a bronze, a silver, gold, or platinum, each one of those has a higher plan richness that it is responsible for paying when it concerns my health care costs.
Now, when you talk about those different plans, the gold and all of the others, silver and all of the others you mentioned, I know that they elevate higher in the cost to the what am I going to say, the recipient.
Exactly.
Okay, so with that, what you're saying also is that with that higher cost, they also get more coverage.
Well, yeah, for those who do not receive subsidy, they may experience a higher cost. Those who are receiving assistance from the federal government to help pay for the health insurance, they are receiving a better plan at a much better rate because they're receiving assistance from the federal government.
Even those at the gold level.
Even those at the gold level.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Yes.
So now, do you think that it's going to survive?
Well, based upon the history and what affordable health care law is, I want to keep in mind, Affordable Health Care Act is not a bill. It is law, and not only law, it has been deemed by the Supreme Court constitutional.
That's right.
So it carries more weight to it than just a traditional law.
Interesting.
In that it is constitutional.
Very interesting.
So
that in essence says that it's going to be around for quite a while.
we can see it for a while. We have the possibility of seeing it for a while.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes.
I do remember because it's been very recent that the Supreme Court ruled on it.
Exactly.
Yes. We've got to take a break here, and we'll be back in just one moment with Let's Talk About It.
Sponsored by Prepare for the ACT with the online ACT Mastery Home Study Course. Sponsored by
Omni Insurance Group, your free affordable healthcare enrollment center.
Welcome back to Let's Talk About It. Our guest, Byron Alexander with Omni Insurance Group. And we are talking about the Affordable Care Act, which you may think of as the Obamacare, which is what everyone hears all of the time. Byron, does the Affordable Care Act reduce waste?
Well, it's designed to reduce waste. One of the increasing costs for health care in the United States is our health care delivery. And so to attack the health care delivery system here in America, the Affordable Health Care mandates that certain requirements are met in the health care delivery. So in looking at and implementing these new programs and procedures and guidelines and coming into compliance, it is designed to bring down the health care costs by cutting waste. Because there is waste in healthcare, and it's designed to cut that waste greatly from the perspective of the healthcare delivery system, which is very important because if I go to a doctor, say 5 years ago, and I had that doctor for the last 4 years, and I moved now to a new physician, and that physician does not have my records, or if I'm prescribed the wrong medication and things of that sort, because of I'm not aware of the overlaps of information, because the record systems are not designed to coincide with each other, then that could increase the cost in the healthcare delivery.
So you're saying that if you, let's say, switch doctors, then that new doctor does not have access to the files, even though they are online.
Well, that's what the Affordable Health Care is requiring now.
Okay.
Is that electronic data.
Because
is
before,
available.
everyone may not have been electronic.
Exactly.
And now they're being required to be electronic. That makes sense. Okay.
Exactly. So it's really designed to, it sets on the platform of wellness. So when you start from a pregnancy, if you have a healthy pregnancy, then you can have a healthy delivery. If you have a healthy delivery, then you can have a healthy baby. And so it progresses. And as long as those requirements are met and we stay, the healthcare delivery system, stay in compliance with what the Affordable Care Act is designed to do, then you cut down on healthcare costs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So.
Yeah. And then how about if you can share with us the good and not so good of the Affordable Care Act?
Well, we'll look at the not so good first. When I consider the not so good, probably when you think about from the perspective of those who had coverage in place prior to affordable care, from their perspective, it may have been not so good because it required them to may have go with a different plan than what they already had, because those plans could not be grandfathered in to meet the requirements. So from looking from an individual's perspective who had a inferior plan, it may not look so good. But when you look at it from the opposite side, where this plan, where it is required to do, it's required to give me better coverage so I can get better treatment, better service, better performance from my plan.
I remember watching something on TV, and the person was complaining because he or she had to change from that company that they had been with for a very long time. And then at some point, they realized that they had better coverage. And they were caught off guard because they were there complaining until the person showed, look how much better your coverage is, even though you're having to leave this person you've been with for a while, or this coverage. In the full frame of things, you really are getting better service.
Right. And that's probably the one message that I would like for everyone to just pause a minute and take a look at. One would be, don't be afraid of change. That's probably one of the most significant factors with this new thing of affordable health care. It's bringing about change. The second thing is to dig in. We have free seminars, and we'll be doing things across Baton Rouge and other areas as well. But get to where you can hear what the affordable health care has to offer before you bat it down first. You have to get the full scope of what it's designed to do, and how it's in the long run. If we stay true to its principles of what it's designed to do, we can see where it could help us as a country when it comes to the delivery system and the health costs overall when it comes to healthcare system.
Well, it sounds as if it has the possibilities.
Yes, actually does.
And that would be good, because if the health of the nation is better, then that means overall the nation is better.
Exactly.
Because the illnesses that are just running rampant,
Exactly.
I keep hoping that it means even for more research and better care.
Exactly.
And that would be something that would really be good.
Well, and just one statistics that we want to bring out of 12 countries or 11 countries with a healthcare delivery system, we are number 11.
Out of 12.
Out of 11, we are number 11. Out of those 11, when it comes to healthcare costs and the quality of care that is delivered,
We're at rock bottom.
we're rock bottom.
That's
So
terrible.
there has to be a better way,
Yes.
and there is a better way, but we have to work together and understand what affordable health care literally is all about, and take a look at it and see if it's anything there that can benefit me first before I complain about it.
Yeah, so that's what you hear a lot of, is a lot of complaints. But
Exactly.
you're saying, in essence, you need to take a good look first.
Exactly.
Okay, we've enjoyed talking with you on this really important subject of the Affordable Care Act. And Byron is going to be having 2 health fairs, right?
Yes.
One on October 25th,
Yes.
which is going to be where?
At the S.E. Mackey Center on Ford Street.
Okay, the S.E. Mackey Center on Ford Street. And then on November 1st?
On November 1st, we'll be having a health fair at Quarters, the Endless Entertainment Center. We want to make it somewhere where the family can come out and hear about, as well as pre-qualify for affordable health care.
Okay, Quarters is located where?
At the corner of Sherwood Forest and Coursey Boulevard.
Okay, that's on the corner, at the corner of Sherwood Forest and
Coursey Boulevard.
Coursey Boulevard. So those are 2 different health fairs. Are they both health fairs?
One is a seminar which is on the 25th.
Okay.
And then on the 1st of November is the health fair.
Very good. And we would like to thank you for being with us today on our 2 very different but informative issues that we needed to know about. So we'll be seeing you the next time on Let's Talk About It.